Morning light spills through the tall glass windows of St. Anselm Private Clinic, polished floors, hushed voices, and the faint scent of antiseptic and coffee. Everything here gleams with perfection, the kind of place where mistakes are whispered about, not forgiven. Among the staff, one woman stands out not by rank or wealth, but by grace. Clara Brooks, a black nurse in her early 30s, calm, attentive, gentle. Her voice has a way of quieting pain. Her hands, steady kind. Patients ask for her by name. They trust her. But not everyone in the clinic feels the same. Some see her calm confidence as defiance. Some see her kindness as weakness. That morning, a single rumor will be enough to destroy everything she's built. In room 203 lies Margaret Halley, wife of a powerful businessman. Polished, elegant, the kind of woman whose perfume costs more than Clara's rent. Clara has been attending to her for weeks, checking vitals, adjusting pillows, bringing tea just the way she likes it. A quiet routine, until today. Margaret's diamond bracelet, a family heirloom, worth more than most earn in a year, is gone, vanished. Within hours, whispers spread like infection through the corridors. No one says it outright, but the meaning is clear. She was the last one in the room. She's always so quiet. Almost secretive. Such a shame. She seemed so nice. Clara doesn't hear all of it, but she feels it. The weight of glances, the cold in voices that were warm yesterday. She is called into the administrator's office. The air is heavy. Margaret Halley sits across the table, arms folded, eyes sharp. "I don't want a scandal," Margaret says softly. "I just want this handled quietly." We all know how rumors can destroy reputations. The administrator clears his throat. "Yes, for the sake of the clinic's name, it's best if we move forward without further noise." Clara looks at them both, confusion giving way to disbelief. "Are you saying I took it?" No one answers. Only silence. The kind that confirms what people don't have the courage to say aloud. She pleads for reason, for fairness. "I've worked here for 6 years. You know me. But truth doesn't matter when prejudice has already made up its mind. The papers are ready. The decision final. No proof, no chance to defend herself. Only the quiet humiliation of being escorted out of the ward she once ran with pride." As she walks down the corridor, the sound of her shoes echoes, the same hallway that used to echo with greetings and laughter. Now, only silence follows. Some nurses avoid her gaze. Others whisper behind clipboards. Even her friend from the night shift looks away, pretending to check a chart. It isn't anger she feels. Not yet. It's the sharp, hollow ache of betrayal. By people she trusted. By the system she believed in. At the front desk, she unpins her name badge. It gleams for a moment in the fluorescent light before she lays it down beside her folded uniform. Her voice is steady, almost too calm. "You can take my job," she says quietly. "But you cannot take my name." No one answers. They just watch her go. A woman walking out with dignity while others hide behind their silence. Outside, rain has started to fall, gentle at first, then heavy, soaking through her thin coat. She doesn't open her umbrella. She just walks, each step heavier than the last, but her head still high. Behind her, the clinic continues its day, the hum of machines, the chatter of nurses, the shallow comfort of routine. Inside, they've already moved on. Outside, she begins again. She finds shelter beneath a small awning across the street. The rain drums on the metal roof above her, steady and cold. Her reflection stares back from the clinic window, blurred by water, ghost-like. In that moment, she realizes something. They took her livelihood, but not her purpose. Because purpose doesn't come from titles or uniforms or polished hallways. It comes from within, from the same place as mercy, as strength, as love. She presses a hand to her chest, feels her heartbeat, slow, unbroken, and whispers to herself, almost like a prayer, "I'll keep doing good. Even if the world thinks I don't deserve to." The rain falls harder, but her steps grow lighter. She walks away from St. Anselm, leaving behind the walls that could not hold her truth. No one sees her go. No one thanks her. But somewhere deep inside, the woman they cast out begins to rise, because storms do not drown the strong. They cleanse them. And as the rain washes the last traces of the clinic from her path, Clara Brooks, once accused, once betrayed, begins her quiet rebirth. 7 years have passed. The world has changed, but Clara Brooks remains the same woman at her core, calm, steady, and kind. She now works in a small city hospital, far from luxury, far from prestige. Here, the walls are old, the lights hum faintly, and the pay barely covers the rent. But every day, she shows up. And every day, lives are saved because of her hands. She doesn't wear the polished uniform of private clinics anymore. Her scrubs are simple blue, worn at the edges. Yet, in the eyes of her patients, she carries something no money can buy: trust. There's no bitterness in her. No hate left for those who wronged her. Life has taught her that pain can harden a heart, but only if you let it. And Clara never did. She's seen too many people take their last breaths, too many families whisper prayers that never reach heaven. So she decided long ago, her purpose isn't to judge, but to heal. Nights in the hospital stretch endlessly. Monitors beep. Rain taps the windows. Somewhere a child cries. And Clara moves quietly between rooms, her presence soft but unshakable, a guardian in scrubs. Then one night, during a storm, the emergency doors burst open. Paramedics rush in, soaked, carrying a young woman on a stretcher. Blood, glass, rainwater, chaos everywhere. Car accident. Female, early 20s. No pulse for 3 minutes on scene, one of them shouts. The team moves fast. Prep trauma room, oxygen, vitals now. And then Clara hears it, the name. Patient, Lily Halle. The name hits like a forgotten echo. Halle. For a heartbeat, everything freezes. That name belongs to a past she buried years ago, Margaret Halle, the woman who once accused her of stealing, who cost her everything. And now, her daughter lies before her, pale and broken, between life and death. The air feels heavy, but Clara doesn't hesitate. There is no space for the past in an emergency room. Only the present, only the pulse. She snaps on her gloves. Blood pressure's dropping, 40/20, we're losing her. Push epinephrine. Prepare the defibrillator. Every word is calm, every movement precise. Her voice cuts through panic like light through fog. 1 shock. 2. The monitor stays flat. Come on, Clara whispers under her breath. Don't you give up now. A 3rd shock. A faint sound, a beep, then another, the rhythm returns. Weak, but steady. 2 hours pass in what feels like minutes. The chaos fades into silence. The girl's heartbeat evens out. When it's finally over, Clara removes her gloves, her hands trembling slightly. She sits down beside the bed, breathing deeply, eyes closed for a moment. The staff around her exchange looks of relief and admiration. No one notices the quiet storm behind her calm face. She doesn't ask for gratitude. She doesn't need it. She's not saving Lily Halle for forgiveness or closure. She's doing it because it's who she is, a healer, not a judge. Later that night, as the room grows still, Clara stands beside the bed. Lily lies unconscious, her breathing shallow but steady. A faint light from the monitors flickers across her face. Clara studies her gently, this fragile soul who has no idea how their fates are intertwined. She sees not the daughter of the woman who wronged her, but a young life fighting to stay in this world. And for the first time in years, Clara feels something unexpected: peace. Not triumph, not revenge, just quiet peace. Outside, the rain begins to ease. Morning light creeps in through the blinds. The night has taken its toll, but it has given something back too, a sense of purpose that feels even stronger than before. When the new shift arrives, Clara signs her report, closes the file with Lily Hale's name, and walks toward the exit. Her shoulders are heavy with fatigue, but her eyes calm, steady, alive. In a world that once turned its back on her, she still chooses to show up. Still chooses to save. Still chooses to believe. As she steps out into the morning air, a soft smile touches her lips. Maybe one day, life will bring the rest of the story full circle. But for now, it's enough that one more heartbeat still echoes, because she refused to give up. The morning light filtered softly through the blinds. A quiet hospital room, the faint rhythmic sound of monitors. Lily Hale slowly opened her eyes. Her breath trembled, uncertain, fragile. Beside her sat a woman in a blue nurse's uniform. Calm eyes, steady presence, quiet grace. Clara Brooks. Lily's voice was weak. You saved me." Clara smiled gently. "I just did my job, sweetheart." The girl looked at her, confusion and gratitude tangled in her gaze. There was something about the nurse's calm voice, something oddly familiar, almost comforting. The door opened. Margaret Hale stepped inside, her heels clicking softly against the floor. A bouquet of white lily trembled in her hands, and then she froze. Her eyes widened when she saw who was sitting beside her daughter. For a heartbeat, the world fell silent. "You," Margaret whispered. Clara turned, composed as ever. "Yes, Mrs. Hale." No trace of anger, no hint of triumph, only quiet dignity. Margaret set the flowers down with trembling hands. Her lips parted, but words refused to come. The weight of 7 years pressed down like a stone. Lily glanced between them, sensing something she didn't understand. "Mom, do you two know each other?" Margaret's voice broke. "Yes," she said finally. "We do." Her eyes filled with tears. "I was wrong. All those years ago." Clara looked at her, calm and unflinching. "I never expected an apology," she said softly. "But I'm glad you found the courage to say it." Margaret's breath hitched. "You lost everything because of me." Clara shook her head. "No, ma'am. You took a job from me, not my worth. That never belonged to you." For a moment, the older woman covered her face with her hands. Regret, heavy and real, washed over her. "I was protecting my image," she whispered. "And in doing so, I forgot how to be human." Clara's expression softened. "Sometimes fate brings us back," she said quietly, "to the very place where we chose pride, so we can finally choose truth." Lily's hand trembled as she reached for Clara's. "Thank you," she said, her voice cracking. "You're the reason I'm still here." Clara smiled faintly. "No, my dear. You fought to live. I only gave you the chance." Lily looked at her with tears in her eyes. "But you didn't have to help me." "After what my family did," Clara interrupted gently. "When someone is in need, they're not their name or their past. They're just a person who needs saving. And I took an oath to help, not to judge." Silence filled the room, not heavy but healing. Margaret lifted her gaze, her voice barely above a whisper. "How do you forgive something like that?" Clara paused, her eyes distant for a moment. "Forgiveness isn't about erasing pain," she said. "It's about refusing to let pain decide who you are." The room seemed brighter somehow. Lily's heart steadied, her breathing deepened. Margaret sat quietly, her pride stripped away, replaced by something fragile, humility. After a while, Clara rose from her chair. "I should check on the other patients," she said softly. Lily held her hand a moment longer. "You're incredible." Clara shook her head, smiling. "No, I'm just someone who believes that grace isn't weakness. It's strength without the noise." She turned toward the door. Margaret stood hesitant. "Miss Brooks." She began. Clara stopped but didn't turn. "Thank you," Margaret said quietly, "for saving my daughter, and for reminding me what decency looks like." Clara gave a small nod. "I didn't save her to prove anything. Sometimes God gives us back the chance to do what's right, even if the story began in pain." She left the room, her footsteps fading down the corridor. Margaret sank into the chair, tears streaming down her face. Lily squeezed her mother's hand gently. "Mom," she whispered. "She's the kind of person you always told me didn't exist." Margaret looked toward the door, where Clara had disappeared. "She's exactly the kind of person I needed to believe in," she said softly. Outside, Clara stepped into the courtyard. The morning rain had stopped, leaving the world fresh and quiet. She tilted her face toward the light, closing her eyes. No bitterness, no triumph. Just peace. Her voice, calm and steady, echoed in her mind, the words she had once said to herself on the day she lost everything. "They can take your title. They can take your place. But they can't take your truth." And now, years later, that truth stood taller than any accusation ever could. Grace, she realized, wasn't something you found in others. It was something you chose, even when no one else did. As the wind carried the scent of rain and lily through the air, Clara Brooks smiled faintly to herself. Because sometimes dignity doesn't demand recognition. It simply stands quiet and unshaken, proof that goodness never really leaves.